Now, what's really interesting and what's really helpful in our conversation today is that I do know you, and I've known you for a really long time. And I'm just imagining listening to all that you're sharing about knowing your numbers and KPIs and not getting too emotionally connected to the business so that it would cut you off from considering opportunities, whether it be buying or selling or whatever it might be. If I just take all that at face value, and I don't know Dave Lovell, I hear a businessman who is, on that kind of solid blocking and tackling. But I do know you. And so I also know that you care deeply about and invest heavily in people,
Hmm.
which really gets to this idea of leading. How do we not only understand the KPIs, but how does all of this impact? You mentioned creating jobs earlier. You mentioned, and when you own businesses, you have the opportunity, if you choose to. I mean, you can be an absentee owner, or you can be involved in actually leading people and growing and developing them. And I know that I've been on the other side of you when you're investing in people. So talk a little bit about your perspective on people and on leading people, because I know that you've spent a lifetime developing your thinking around that as well.
Yeah. Yeah, the to be able, and I should have put that in, that is absolutely one of the most crucial pieces of being able to have multiple businesses to be able to do what I've done. If you don't have good people, and you aren't investing in developing them, you can't do it because there's just not enough time in the day. There's always a problem that arises that you have to deal with. And if you don't have those good people around you to do it, you just, it can't be done. Um, Now, there is so much that goes into that from the development side. You want to provide them the resources and to be able to grow in their skills in their life, not only just business wise, but in their life. I know that I say it all the time is when you come in the door, game face comes on, the uniform's on. This is there. I don't care what's going on outside the doors. When you walk in, this is all about the business and the customers and providing them, the product or service, whatever it is, to be the best that it can be for them because they're there for a reason. They're there
Mm-hmm.
for that business. They don't really care what's going on in your life. They only care about themselves, and that's what we're about. So game face comes on, you got the uniform on, boom. We don't cross that line. But then I also say, but wait a minute, I want you to know something. I care deeply about what's going on outside those doors. So when we're outside those doors, I do want to know what's going on in your life because I know that affects what's happening when you walk in those doors. So I
Mm-hmm.
have to be cognizant of that to help them in those areas to say, is there things that you need what's happening in your life? What do you need to grow in your personal life to be able that it will, because it will affect them when it comes into business. It's not about just the business.
Mm-hmm.
It's about the people that you bring in. So developing them as people and helping them grow in their careers, but grow in their life. Again, it's a tough job market. I want my staff. I don't care whether it's somebody that's a frontline, front desk worker, salesperson, or it's a upper level management person. I want them to think twice about leaving me, leaving this business. Because I'll say, if there's a better opportunity and there's a better situation, go. Trust me, go. I don't ever want you not to go. But I also want you to know it's not always greener on the other side, and make sure that you
Yeah.
understand, what you have here. And it's not just money. It's about the culture, the relationships that you have. I want them to hurt. I want them to come back 5 years later and say, I should have never left. And thankfully, I've had people leave and come back, um, and I appreciate that because they're good people. And I want a lot of them. I want back.
Yeah.
In fact, I have a manager that worked for me for a long time. Young kid, worked for me from 19 years old, moved up, became a manager, started running stuff. She left, and she had an opportunity that when she sat there and told us, she said, "No, I'm not going to take the opportunity." And then they came back 3 months later and said, "We want you," and they increased it $30,000. I mean, she was like, "What do I do?" I say, "Take it." I can't tell you if it's a good job or not. I'm just telling you, take the job. There's not
Yeah.
an opportunity. I can never provide what you have an opportunity to do. Go do it. Well,
Yeah.
6 months later, guess what? I got a phone call and I got her back because the money didn't offset the pain that she was going through in the
Mm.
job. And so
Yeah.
it's about that person. For me, is I want you to be successful. I would love you to be with me, but if not, be successful. So having that attitude, I can't tell you how important people are. So you got to develop them in their life. It's not just the skills business, but they need to know the skills of business that they need to have. But then also, I think, outside, it's important to know that you care about their lives. And it's not just words. It's like, if I got to cry with you, I'll cry with you, whatever you need, because I care about you. Now, the other side of that is, and this is, I think, hard for people that are younger. They have a perspective of, well, the business needs to be all that for me and take care of all the needs. Is having those high expectations don't change. And
Yeah.
and communicating. I think the folks that have developed and they understand is, I care about you, but I care about your success, in that you need to have a standard that you need to
Mm-hmm.
think highly of it. And I can't tell you how many times I've had the conversations with people where they're just struggling and oh, I don't like this or I don't like this. And I say, what's sad to me is I care more about your success than you do. And that's sad to me. And that's just not going to work.
Yeah.
And so it's not about not having expectations. It's really about having a loving, guiding hand of expectations to help them in their lives. But to understand, I'm laying a groundwork for you to be successful. You need to have a standard of excellence in your life and expect you to be successful, and not expect people to give you what you think you want or need. It's about what is the best thing for you as a person. I can't tell you how many times you have that conversation with your kids. As you know, with your kids,
Yeah.
when parents said that hated phrase, "This hurts me more than it hurts you," in certain sense, it's like, it's like, I don't want to do this and tell you this stuff, but
Yeah.
it's for your good. You need
Yeah.
this, and as hard as this is going to be, I've got to have that conversation. And then the other side, and I just, I can't tell you how many business owners like, yeah, but you don't understand my staff. They're always like, look, there are times to move people on. I get it.
Sure.
Trust me. There are more. I mean, the situation we're in right now. Last night I was sick to my stomach because I know I have to make a pivot on a
Mm.
staff member that was very important to me. But there comes a time where you say, I can't care more about your success in your life than you. You can't drag everybody else down on
Mm.
that. So, it's all goes into that, in developing people. It is obviously, Tim, it's a huge topic, but I can't tell you it's a success. I don't care who you are. There is no self-made successful person. There's nobody that's self-made.
Mm.
There is always people that are involved in that process. And I think, trying to be isolated and do it on your own, it doesn't work. Life doesn't work that way on
Mm.
that. So yeah, you're
Yeah.
right. That development of people is absolutely crucial.